Most of you do know. But if you don't, I was blocked by Ryan Reynolds. Yes. So Joe Rogan just entered the chat and he is team Justin Baldoni. And it's absolutely absurd and it's not going to work. She's using it to assert control over Justin Baldoni, destroy his life. Essentially, it was destroying his family, his health, and everything else.
Did you know that behind Hollywood's polished veneer, secret power plays and hidden agendas can topple even the most celebrated stars?
This is what you get. You're trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise.
They're fucked.
The whole thing's crazy.
They're fucked.
And he's suing the New York Times.
Today, we're delving into an explosive story where Joe Rogan dismantled the narrative carefully spun by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, exposing a jaw-dropping battle for control and reputation.
It's a bunch of fabrication and lies, and then you see the control that she took over the movie, and I just don't see how any of these reporters are coming to that conclusion other than they are just trying to meet some type of agenda.
This isn't your everyday celebrity drama. It's a high-stakes showdown that's shaking the industry to its core.
But that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did it for the boys.
Exactly. You got to do it.
You need real motherfuckers to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
Yeah, especially a guy like that. It was like known as being like this really sweet, nice guy.
Before we jump into the nitty-gritty, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By liking and subscribing, you won't miss any updates on this ever-evolving drama.
And then it's like, all right,
Dude,
enough.
he posted the receipts.
Oh,
He's like, oh,
receipts are
remember our
crazy.
text exchange? Bah, bah,
How about
bah,
she
bah.
told him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding?
Now, let's peel back the layers and see exactly how Joe Rogan flipped the script, leaving Blake Lively's empire in ruins. It all began with a stunning power move that sent shockwaves through Tinseltown.
Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they fucked up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's
Yeah.
trying to get out of the lawsuit. And they're like, you were a key part of this.
This is what you get, though.
Blake Lively, widely recognized for her on-screen allure, was allegedly orchestrating a hostile takeover behind the scenes of her latest film. With a coveted PGA credit under her belt, Lively was not merely a performer.
Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they fucked up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's
Yeah.
trying to get out of the lawsuit. And they're like, you were a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood.
She became the de facto ruler of her production. From casting and editing to firing key staff and even sidelining the original director, Justin Baldoni, she transformed the film set into her personal domain.
He owned the franchise.
They're fucked.
The whole
man.
thing's crazy.
They're fucked.
And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case
He's
there
going hard in
too.
the paint. But
He
that's
should.
what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Picture a scenario where a respected director is suddenly locked out of his own project. The evidence, comprising multiple text exchanges, emails, and behind-the-scenes footage, suggests that Lively wasn't simply involved.
You just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it. Because everyone just bows
Because everyone's
down.
scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds A-list, Blake Lively A-list. Like,
She was dominating every decision. What might have been framed as a minor on-set dispute quickly escalated into a full-blown power struggle, forcing everyone involved to confront a reality that was far more complex than it initially appeared.
Van City Reynolds, who has blocked me, so I can still view his stuff. I just can't post anything. You see, guys, it's all grayed out. Look at that. My feelings are really hurt.
But the real shocker was yet to come. How would a beloved actor, known for his everyman charm, navigate this turbulent environment? Keep watching to find out.
He's like, oh,
Receipts are
remember our
crazy.
text exchange? Bah, bah,
how about she
bah,
told
bah.
him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding?
Enter Ryan Reynolds, a name synonymous with wit, charm, and a down-to-earth persona that once captivated audiences around the globe.
To come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding.
They're fun
And then
ass.
part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth.
However, recent revelations indicate that Reynolds' role in this saga is far more controversial than his public image suggests.
Then part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it. Because everyone just bows
Because everyone's
down.
scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds A-list, Blake Lively A-list.
Allegations now point to his involvement in a covert effort to protect a narrative that was rapidly unraveling. Insiders claim that Reynolds used his considerable influence to pressure major industry players, including WME.
I was blocked by Ryan Reynolds. Yes. Predator Pool himself blocked me. I don't know when he blocked me. I don't know if it's when I exposed on X what happened with his daughter in Deadpool and that abhorrent things that they made her do.
Into dropping Justin Baldoni as a client. This wasn't a case of simple backstage maneuvering. It appears to have been part of a calculated campaign to silence dissent and safeguard a crumbling story.
It's whiny, it's bratty, and it needs to end. So to that, I say, thank you to Blake Lively.
As fans and critics took to social media, the once adored actor began to face questions about whether his support for this narrative was genuine or merely a strategic move to maintain his standing among Hollywood's elite. Before we dive into the next twist,
this is an amazing support that Justin is now getting from Joe Rogan on this case, and it's going to continue to get ugly as more things come out.
What do you think about this unexpected shift in Reynolds' behavior? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters in this unfolding drama. Then came the moment that changed everything. Joe Rogan's latest interview.
She told the composer that she brought in when the other one was fired that she wanted let go, allegedly because Taylor Swift wanted him let go.
Known for his blunt honesty and relentless pursuit of the truth, Rogan took on the narrative head-on, challenging the version of events that had long been taken for granted.
She basically called him and said that she has moved into the role of taking control of the movie and finishing it and doing the whole movie.
With his signature no-nonsense approach, he systematically dismantled the carefully curated story propagated by Lively and Reynolds. During the interview, Rogan highlighted a series of contradictions.
Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME, their agency, into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible.
While Lively had publicly painted herself as a victim of workplace harassment, the documented texts, emails, and behind-the-scenes clips told a very different story.
Opened up about the fact that she struggles for equality, all the struggles that she faces on behalf of trying to stand up.
One particularly damning text exchange revealed that Lively had actively invited Justin Baldoni into areas that starkly contradicted her claims of isolation.
Disgusting. But as more and more evidence has come out, you're seeing more people are siding.
In doing so, she not only undermined her own narrative, but also raised serious questions about her role in the production. Rogan's revelations weren't just about one isolated incident. They hinted at a systemic issue within Hollywood.
But I'm grateful that she's going through this because it's making a lot of people question what, in fact, modern feminism has become.
His incisive commentary and unexpected questions left viewers on the edge of their seats, wondering just how deep this rabbit hole went. The tension was palpable, and with every new detail, the stakes grew higher.
I think even feminists will agree that you can't just believe someone because they make accusations, especially once the evidence shows that it's a bunch of fabrication and lies, and then you see the control that she took over the movie. And I just don't see how any of these reporters are coming to that conclusion other than they are just trying to meet some type of agenda.
This scandal is a dramatic clash for narrative control. On one side stands Blake Lively, whose strategic yet heavy-handed maneuvers turned a collaborative film project into her own personal empire.
To the point of misandrous, to the point where content creators, as you guys have seen, are being criticized as misogynistic just because we don't believe Blake Lively.
While her public persona suggested vulnerability, her behind-the-scenes actions told a story of someone determined to control every element of production, even if it meant sidelining the very people who were part of her original vision.
So over Ryan Reynolds. Enjoy it while it lasts, my good man. Cancel culture is sneaking up on you.
Opposing her is Justin Baldoni, the sideline director who found himself fighting not only for his career, but also for his integrity. Baldoni's counter-response was swift and resolute.
On the line for all the cases filed against for stealing another man's movie.
He released an array of evidence, screenshots, voice memos, and exclusive footage that challenged the established narrative. For him, this was more than a professional dispute. It was a battle for accountability in an industry notorious for its secretive practices.
And Deadpool fans are done with Ryan Reynolds.
Every piece of evidence Baldoni revealed acted like a spark in a dry forest. Fans and industry insiders alike were drawn into the drama, compelled by the raw emotion and glaring injustice.
Deadpool rocks. You and your wife, however, are complete garbage humans.
The unfolding narrative was a roller coaster of betrayal, power struggles, and the quest for truth, a story that demanded attention from every corner of Hollywood. So, what does it mean when a trusted narrative starts to crumble under the weight of hard evidence?
There's a number of guys who are speaking up about this, but by and large, I would say it's mostly women. And men haven't really entered the chat in the way that I think if they understood the merits of this case, they understood the false allegations of sexual harassment.
The answer, as it turns out, is as shocking as it is inevitable. The truth always finds a way to emerge, no matter how deep it's buried. One of the most unsettling aspects of this saga is the role that media bias played in perpetuating a skewed narrative.
She got a PGA credit, and she essentially took control of the movie. She fired people. She brought in her own team. She did all types of things. She blocked Justin Baldoni from seeing footage.
Initially, major outlets and social media platforms were quick to echo Lively's version of events, lending her claims an air of unquestioned credibility. The story was embraced wholesale, and dissenting voices were all but silenced.
The composer that she brought in when the other one was fired, and she wanted let go, allegedly because Taylor Swift wanted him let go.
However, as the undeniable evidence began to accumulate, the cracks in the facade became impossible to ignore. Journalists and commentators who had once championed the established narrative found themselves scrambling to reconcile emerging facts with their preconceived notions.
He said in an interview that she basically called him and said that she has moved into the role of taking control of the movie and finishing it and doing the whole movie.
This rapid shift in public sentiment is a stark reminder of the dangers of accepting any story at face value without questioning the underlying truth. Now, take a moment to think about this. How many times have we all accepted the official story without digging deeper? Share your experiences in the comments. Let's get a discussion going.
I think more men would be more outraged than the women are. But right now, women, by and large, are holding this. But this can turn the tide.
Beyond the immediate drama on set, this controversy has ignited a larger debate about modern feminism and the nature of accountability in Hollywood. At its heart lies a critical question.
Ryan, I would say, in my opinion, is plausibly the most guilty party of this entire thing.
If someone in a position of power makes accusations of harassment while simultaneously wielding that power, can they truly be seen as a victim?
Ryan Reynolds says Justin Baldoni can't sue him over hurt feelings.
Blake Lively's dual role as both a purported victim and an executive decision maker complicates the narrative in ways that challenge traditional assumptions.
Basically, it's fine if I called him a predator if I believe it. It's fine. And the problem is, it's like, okay, so you're admitting then, essentially, that you have called him this.
Critics argue that while protecting survivors is of paramount importance, an uncritical believe all accusations approach can inadvertently enable those who abuse their power.
Friedman is quoted in TMZ. Let's look at what he said. Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement, extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
In Lively's case, the evidence suggests that her on-set behavior, ranging from firing staff to controlling the production, cast serious doubt on the victim narrative she tried to present. This paradox has not only fueled heated online debates.
They say, well, even doing that, he's just thin-skinned for complaining about it.
But also sparked a broader conversation about transparency, accountability, and the very nature of power in the entertainment industry. The irony here is striking.
All hell broke loose. She claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her.
An industry built on the glamour of celebrity and the mystique of power is now forced to confront the messy, often uncomfortable truth about how that power is wielded.
Brian, who had called this shot, that it was very obvious now that we know his brand of narcissism. I feel like we all deserve like PhDs in psychology by the end of this.
The contrast between the public's perception and the documented reality is a powerful reminder that behind every polished narrative lies a far more complex story. As Joe Rogan's revelations reverberated throughout Hollywood.
So negative press swirled around her during this whole, like a month, right? Later, she would describe this as though it was the pile-on against Trump. Honestly, it's like most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called Tuesday for us.
The fallout was swift and uncompromising. Blake Lively's carefully constructed image began to crack under the relentless pressure of the evidence.
Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and actor and director Justin Baldoni. The plot of this lawsuit is actually more interesting, I believe, than the film that they made.
Once seen as the epitome of elegance and grace, her narrative now appeared riddled with contradictions and questionable decisions. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds, who had once captured hearts with his charm.
I felt like it was very aggressive, I agree, and I can't fault somebody for wanting to stick up for their partner, but there were parts of it as I was reading it, I couldn't help but feel like it was a bit petty.
Found himself isolated and under intense scrutiny for his role in perpetuating a misleading story. Justin Baldoni's resurgence, however, provided a beacon of hope amid the chaos.
So negative press swirled around her during this whole, like a month, right? Later, she would describe this as though it was the pile-on against Trump. Honestly, it's like most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called...
With every piece of evidence he shared, Baldoni not only defended his career, but also championed a broader call for integrity and accountability within an industry that often shrouds its inner workings in secrecy.
It wouldn't surprise me if that's what we see, but I do have to say that the arguments in this opposition were really good.
His determined stand resonated with a growing number of viewers who are tired of the glossy, manipulated narratives that dominate celebrity culture.
Baldoni's team drops a massive $400 million suit on Blake and a lawsuit against the New York Times. Then they publish 170 pages of perfectly documented texts and emails between all the parties that basically show Blake to be the aggressor. Here's the proof.
Every new twist in this saga kept audiences on the edge of their seats. The rapid shifts in public sentiment, from blind acceptance to fierce scrutiny, are a testament to the power of truth and the relentless drive for justice.
And that's what the New York Times is coming back and saying, look, we're not Blake Lively. We're not the ones making the allegation. We're just fairly reporting on what Blake is suing Justin and Wayfair for.
It's a story that not only challenges established norms, but also inspires countless others to demand transparency in every sphere of life. As the dust begins to settle, one thing is clear.
It happened. Investigate it. Do a series of articles. Let's see it.
This is not the end of the story. In fact, the repercussions of these revelations are likely to be felt for years to come, fundamentally reshaping how we view power, accountability, and the very nature of celebrity.
An intimacy coordinator, and Blake refused to meet with him or denied, said, I don't need to meet with the intimacy coordinator. I'll see you on set. I'm all good. So, then Baldoni is tasked as the director with going to break down what happened when he met with the intimacy coordinator so he could get her up to date on it all.
The impact of this scandal extends far beyond a single film set. With Joe Rogan's fearless intervention and the subsequent unraveling of a once dominant narrative, Hollywood is facing a potential paradigm shift.
What Justin is saying is that California's substantive law should apply on this placing somebody in a false light.
The traditional mechanisms of control, backed by star power and polished public relations, are being called into question in ways that could lead to lasting change. For many, this isn't just about celebrity drama.
And are suffering in a public way I think it's, it's distressful, to say the least.
It's a call to action for greater accountability in an industry notorious for its secrecy and manipulation. The growing demand for transparency is forcing both insiders and outsiders to re-examine long-held assumptions about power and influence.
The dates are redacted, the names of the complainants are redacted, except for on one of them, there's an M. And in Blake's original, when she went to Sony, and by the way, they're not to Wayfarer Studios, Justin's company, they're to Sony, the distributor.
As the public becomes more discerning and less willing to accept narratives at face value, a new era of honest, hard-hitting journalism may well be on the horizon. Imagine a world where every story is scrutinized, every claim verified.
Is that they always say better to apologize and ask permission. Well, just not when you're defaming people.
And every individual held accountable regardless of their status. That's the promise of this cultural shift, a future where truth triumphs over spin, and where the powerful can no longer hide behind carefully constructed facades.
Juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
Today's saga isn't simply another chapter in Hollywood's long history of drama. It's a turning point. Joe Rogan's unyielding pursuit of the truth didn't just flip the script. It shattered a myth about the invincibility of celebrity narratives.
Blake Lively's PR firm begging to be let go of the case. I think actually they may have the worst messages of all.
Blake Lively's empire, built on a delicate balance of image and influence, now lies in ruins, and Ryan Reynolds' once endearing persona is under fierce scrutiny as we watch these events unfold. One thing remains indisputable.
A lot of comments that she puts in here that you're just like, why would you want to take over someone's movie? The outfits and this end are so out of touch. No, we don't want to watch bullies like Blake.
The quest for truth in the face of manipulated narratives is just beginning. The ripple effects of this scandal are set to transform Hollywood's inner workings, prompting a long overdue discussion about the ethics of power and the essential need for accountability.
It's insane, and that's crazy. And this is a reason why I think in the future people are just not going to work with her, because it's starting to add up. People are realizing that this is a pathology.
And remember, this is only the beginning. With each new revelation, we're uncovering layers of a story that challenges the very fabric of celebrity culture. What shocking twist will come next? How will the industry adapt to a new era of transparency and truth?
Team Blake Lively may think they have the upper hand. Sources say she has no idea what's coming regarding her battle with Justin Baldoni.
This is Sasha Spills signing off, and I'll see you in the next video.